The heart chakra is not where you think it is, and there is a warning Paramahansa Yogananda gave his closest students about this. A warning that almost never makes it into modern teachings on the chakras. You have probably been touching your chest when you meditate, feeling something, warmth, longing, a tightness with no name, and you have been calling that the heart chakra. It is not. And confusing the two is the first mistake of upper chakra meditation. A mistake that costs ordinary practitioners years of practice and never delivers what they were promised. Today you will learn where the heart center actually lives, what its real opening feels like, and the practice Yogananda gave for working with it correctly. Stay with me. This is going to make sense of something that has felt cloudy for a long time. Be honest about what you actually feel when you sit to work with the heart chakra. You feel emotion, sometimes beautiful, sometimes painful. You feel something stir. You feel love, or grief, or longing, or compassion, and you call that opening. Here is the truth. That is not Anahata. That is your emotional body. And confusing the two is the most common mistake at this gateway. The chakras are not where most modern teachings place them. They are not in the front of your body. They sit in the spine, in the cerebrospinal axis, hidden in the channel of consciousness itself. Yogananda taught this with precision. The heart center, Anahata, is not in the chest. It is behind the chest, between the shoulder blades, inside the spinal column. A point of light buried in the spine, not floating on the skin. The front of the chest is the emotional body, the sheath of feeling. It is real, it is sometimes sacred, but it is not the chakra. When you press your hand to your chest and feel something move, you are touching emotion, the wave at the surface. The chakra is the depth beneath, and here is the quiet trap that waits at this gateway. The seeker, hearing about heart opening, begins to chase the emotional feeling. The next surge, the next breakdown into compassion, the next teary opening in a workshop or retreat. They think this is heart chakra work because something is happening in their chest and it feels deep. It is not. It is the emotional body being trained to produce more intensity. And the emotional body, once it gets a taste for intensity, will always demand more. This is why people who pursue heart opening through feeling become more dramatic over the years, not more peaceful, more easily moved, more easily wounded, more performative in their love. This is what Yogananda saw and warned about. For decades, he watched students come to him crying, deeply feeling, deeply moved, and getting nowhere. He saw clearly that the emotional body cannot ascend. Only the actual centers in the spine can carry consciousness upward. That is the warning, not a dramatic prophecy, a quiet, precise observation about what years of misdirected practice produce. Watch for this in yourself. The signs are clear. Once you know what to look for, you find yourself moved to tears more easily, but the tears come more for the feeling of being moved than for what moved you. You speak about love in larger and larger words, but your closest relationships do not change. You collect spiritual experiences the way another person might collect possessions. Each one feels meaningful in the moment, but a year later, nothing in you has been transformed. You leave retreats glowing, and within a week you are back to who you were before, only now with a new vocabulary for it. You feel deep things in meditation, but you cannot remain calm when a stranger is rude to you in traffic. This is not heart chakra work. This is emotional body work, disguised as something deeper. It is exactly what Yogananda saw silently undoing the practice of devoted students. They were faithful. They were sincere. They were working hard. They were working on the wrong target. The signature of the actual heart center awakening is the opposite of intensity. It is steadiness. It is even-mindedness. It is love that does not need a recipient and does not need a reason. When Anahata truly opens, you do not fall apart in waves of feeling. You feel a quiet, steady warmth, and you feel it the same way toward everyone, toward your closest friend, toward a stranger, toward someone who has hurt you. The same calm, the same care, the same presence. The old teachers called this the equipoise of the heart, not bigger feelings, the end of the swing between feelings. This distinction changes everything. If you keep training the chest, you train the emotional body. The emotional body is a beautiful instrument, but it is not the gateway. It will give you experiences, never depth, sensations, never the doorway. But if you work with the actual center in the spine, something else begins. quieter, slower, and it does not unravel over time. It deepens. Yogananda taught that the chakras are doors. The soul descended through them into the body, and through these same doors, the soul must ascend back to spirit. Each chakra is a center of consciousness, not a producer of feeling. The emotion is the surface. The center is the door. There is one more thing worth knowing before you sit down to practice. The breath is what connects the front of the chest to the spine behind it. As you breathe in, attention can travel from the surface inward. As you breathe out, it can settle deeper into the channel. You will not need to control the breath. You will only need to let it do its natural work as a bridge, from outside in, from emotion toward center, from the surface to the door. This is why many traditions teach meditation on the breath before meditation on the chakras. The breath is the path between layers of the body. Once you know how to follow it inward, the actual centers become reachable. Now try this. Once, before the day ends, sit still, spine erect, eyes closed. Do not touch your chest. Do not visualize anything in the front of your body. Do not try to feel love. Do not try to open anything. Bring your attention to a point on your spine, directly behind the center of your chest, between your shoulder blades, but inside the spine itself, not on the skin, not in the muscle, inside the channel. Let the breath move quietly in and out. With each exhale, let your attention settle a little deeper into that point in the spine, not by effort, by release. Just rest your attention there. That is all. You will probably feel nothing at first. That is correct. The emotional body is loud, and the spinal centers are quiet. Stay with the quiet. Do not return to the chest. Do not chase a sensation. Just keep attention placed in the right room. Stay for a few minutes, then a few more the next day, then longer over many sessions. Slowly, something begins. Not a rush, a presence, a small steady warmth, not in the chest, but in the spine. A sense that something is awake back there, just waiting for you to listen in the right place. That is Anahata. That is the heart. You do not open the heart chakra by feeling more. You open it by listening more carefully, in the right place, to the quiet center that was always there. The chest is emotion. The spine is the door. In the next teaching of this series, I will share the warning Yogananda gave about the third eye, a warning that almost no one talks about. He told his closest students that meditating on the spiritual eye, without first opening the heart, can make a person ruthless. We will go into exactly what that means and the practice that prevents it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss it. Share this with someone who has been working on their heart for years and still feels they are missing something. Often they are. They have been working in the wrong place. And leave a comment. When you bring your attention to the spine behind the chest, what do you notice? Name it. That is where real practice begins. See you in the next one.